So is the big picture that God is telling in the Bible, the Christian story, is it true in the fact sense? Is it an absolute truth? Is it just one among many truth claims? Many people will say to me, well, you have your truth, I have my truth, it's all good. As long as you're sincere about what you believe, if your faith story, your personal fairy tale makes you feel better, if it helps you deal with life, then that's a good thing. But to suggest that it's true or that it is the truth, that it's true in a fact sense of truth, in the spiritual realm there is no absolute truth. It's all relative. These are cultural constructs that have evolved over many years in many societies, and it's rather arrogant for you to suggest that you have somehow a corner on the truth that would then suggest that the other spiritual beliefs of other people groups are therefore not true. So, does truth exist in the spiritual realm? No, I don't think so. I would say that it's relative to each culture or even each individual. I have my truth, you have your truth. Let's live with that and celebrate the diversity of that. Well, I would say that I disagree with that claim that there is no truth in the spiritual realm. First of all, that would be a self-refuting statement. To make a claim as an absolutely true claim that describes reality as it is in the spiritual realm, to say that there is no truth, that's a relatively true statement. If what I say in saying all truth is relative is only relatively true and not absolutely true, then it's sort of a self-refuting. So I would say that from the get-go, truth must exist in the spiritual realm just as it does in the physical realm. And as in the physical realm, spiritual truth is not dependent upon my believing it to make it so, or my not believing it to discredit it. I could stand on the top of a building and say, I don't believe in gravity. I could very sincerely not believe in gravity. My sincere belief doesn't change the reality that gravity exists. I could stand in a square in the middle of a city with thousands of people milling around, and if I could get their attention and their cooperation and say, hey, everybody, point the direction you believe to be north. People might be pointing in 1,000 different directions. Their sincerity of belief about where they're pointing isn't the issue about whether they're right or not. There is such a thing as north. They may be right or not, but their sincerity doesn't make it so. Truth exists whether or not we believe it to be so. Millions of people believing the earth to be flat hundreds of years ago didn't make it flat, nor does billions of people believing the world to be spherical today make it so. It is in and of itself what it is. And so the atheist, in believing that there is no God, is either right or wrong. Just as the Christian, in believing that there is a God, is either right or wrong. Both cannot be right. If the atheist is right, the Christian is wrong. That simple. And so are all other theists of all other religions. If indeed there is no God, if there is no deity, then all people of religious faiths who believe in a deity are wrong. Now they may be sincere in their faiths, and their religious fairy tales might even make them feel better, and may even make them behave better. But they're still wrong. Conversely, if the Christian or theist is right, and there truly is a divine being, a creator, then the atheist is wrong. No matter how sincere he is in his false belief, he's still wrong. So, the law of non-contradiction will not allow us to say that all truth claims are equally true and valid. and that truth, again, is some just relativistic cultural construct that changes with the times. No. We go to college or university because we actually believe that we will learn something that is true in the real world, and that through that knowledge we will be a better person, be more productive, make a better living, because it is true in application in the real world. We live in a world and we act as though truth really does exist, that it's not just a matter of opinion. In a court of law, we try to reconstruct an event, we reconstruct an accident. While there may be different perspectives of what happened at the accident, the different perspectives do not negate the reality that something did indeed happen, and that there is a truth that accurately describes it. Paul the Apostle, who previously was Rabbi Saul before he had a conversion experience, said in 1 Corinthians in the Bible that he based his beliefs and his willingness to follow this Messiah, Jesus, on the factual accounts of the resurrection of Jesus as his historical truth. He said in 1 Corinthians 15, "For what I received I passed on to you as of first importance, that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day according to the Scriptures, and that he appeared to Peter and to the 12 and to 500 other brothers, many of whom are still alive." And then later he said, if Christ has not been raised as a factual historical event, then our preaching to you is useless and your faith is in vain. We may as well eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Now, Paul was willing to follow this belief of Messiah Jesus to a martyr's death. C.S. Lewis said, "Christianity, if true, is of absolutely no importance." I'm sorry. C.S. Lewis said, "Christianity, if false, is of no importance. If true, is of ultimate." What the heck did he say?
Ultimate importance.
Of ultimate. C.S. Lewis said, "Christianity, if true." C.S. Lewis said, "Christianity, if false, is of no importance. If true, is of ultimate importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important." So I thoroughly reject this concept that there is no truth and that all truth claims are equally valid, and you have your truth, I have my truth, and it's all good. Now that brings up a second concept, and that is that many people would say, well, you Christians think that you have the truth and therefore it's your job to be obnoxious and in your arrogance impose your truth on other people who are perfectly content with their own truth claims. That whole intolerance thing. Well, first of all, I think it's